All right, so let's find out who Sadie is playing. I know before they were talking about different people, maybe even an actual Mary Jane Watson. So let's check this out. Get on over to the cosmic. They both begin with a C. Threw me off. The Cosmic Wonder. Subscribe and tell them Tyrone Magnus sent you. All right, let's get it.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Cosmic Wonder. Today we got some really amazing news for Spider-Man.
I see what you did there.
Both for Spider-Man Brand New Day and for Spider-Man in Avengers Doomsday. Now,
Okay.
for Spider-Man Brand New Day, Sadie Sink has officially been cast in a mystery role, but it looks like we might finally know who she's playing. And if
Okay.
this report is true, it's exactly what I wanted. I
She
think
looks
this
like
will
Mary
lead to
Jane.
an amazing story for Spider-Man Brand
She
New
looks
Day.
like she
It
could
will
absolutely
involve
be a
the
young
story
Mary
with
Jane.
the multiverse and the events that are taking place in Avengers Doomsday, and could lead to a very satisfying reunion in Avengers Doomsday or in Avengers Secret Wars if Marvel Studios pulls it off. But when it comes to Avengers Doomsday, I know that Tom Holland hasn't officially gotten a chair from Marvel Studios, and there have been reports that he's perhaps not going to be in Avengers Doomsday because he's going to have to film The Odyssey and Spider-Man Brand New Day. But since Spider-Man is one of the main faces of the MCU right now, it would make sense for him to be in Avengers Doomsday, and apparently Marvel Studios thinks that as well. We have a new report that they're working on getting him in Avengers Doomsday. And of course, we'll break it all down for you in this video. Now, Sadie Sink has been a pretty hot topic since she was announced to be cast for Spider-Man Brand
Hot topic. Do any of you shop there?
New Day. Marvel Studios was and currently is casting for the new X-Men team, so Jean Grey got thrown out there a lot about who she could be possibly playing.
Jean
However,
Grey.
once the report actually came out from an official source, they did quote the rumors that she was going to play Jean Grey, but insiders came out and said they haven't heard
She looks
that is
older
who
there.
she's going to play. On top of that, we have heard things like Black Cat is going to appear in Spider-Man Brand New Day, or perhaps Spider-Gwen. So perhaps Sadie Sink was going to possibly play one of these characters. However, in a
Well, doesn't he have a daughter? Also, doesn't Peter have a daughter? So maybe that a future version. I don't know.
new report from John Roca on the Hot Mic podcast, he says that it's actually not any of these characters, but he has heard something different from a source of his. And according to him and his source, Sadie Sink is going to be playing Mayday Parker. And he does seem to specify that this is going to be Mayday Parker, the daughter of Peter Parker, but specifically the daughter of Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker. Take a listen to what he said.
Because I just
Cool.
checked someone, a source, who said something, and they said they've heard that Sadie Sink is playing Mayday, Mayday Parker. So connecting to the Toby universe, he's her daughter. But that's what they've revealed.
John Roca would continue to go on and say that she is the teenage daughter of Peter Parker, Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker, and she comes from a different universe. And I think if Marvel Studios decides to do this,
That's
it's
what I
a
said.
brilliant idea.
That'd be
for
cool to
a
see.
few different reasons, but one being, I think it is really important that they explore variants from other universes as we really get into Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. That's why I think that the Fantastic Four film being set in another universe is a brilliant idea. We need to see the multiverse saga in full effect. So I think that this would be an incredible
That'd be
move from
cool to
Marvel
see.
Studios, and I do think that it would set up an incredible reunion for Tobey Maguire to return and reunite.
She actually right there. She looks like she could be the baby of Kirsten Dunst and Tobey Maguire. Yeah, that
with
works.
Tom Holland's Peter Parker, and I think this could actually have a way bigger effect than most people realize on the character of Tom Holland's Peter Parker. Because Tom Holland's Peter Parker has struggled a lot, and in Spider-Man No Way Home, we have learned that Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker has also struggled a lot. But in that moment, when they're all talking to each other about girlfriends and getting angry and no longer pulling punches and such, Tobey's Peter Parker gave Andrew some hope when he said, "We make it work," telling the other Spider-Man that it is possible. It takes work, but it is possible to have somewhat of a normal life, at least the most normal you could, being Spider-Man.
Man, if I was Spider-Man, I wouldn't be pulling no punches. I'd be knocking all humans out with one hit. He's so strong with one finger. All he's got to do, he could take everybody out, hitting them all in pressure points. Peter Parker's too nice of a guy, just like Superman. To me, that's both of their flaws. Similar with Batman. Batman won't kill. Like, bruh. First of all, just a lot of characters that won't kill. But, Batman specifically, I think he's known for that. At least the main canon of him and not earlier versions, it's known for not, like, he tries to save people that try to kill him and have done other and killed other people in his life. Like, I'm sorry. No. See, because, we know that there's all this stuff is fantastical and ideal type of crap. But in the real life, when people kill other people's family members, we lock them up and they get the death sentence in a lot of states. Okay? Period, point blank. And if you leave it up to the family, they'll find them and take the law into their hands and kill them too. You know what I'm saying? An eye for an eye. You know what I mean? So, I always thought it was so stupid. But you got to do it like that, especially in the comic books, because these are great villains story-wise. So if you kill them all off, you got to keep making new ones. And it's not like great villains are a dime a dozen. They're not. So you need to have a way to keep them alive. So story-wise, you need to give these characters some type of self-righteousness, and you won't kill me because of some misplaced self-righteousness. You know what I'm saying? It's like you got to give them some reason why they weren't able to kill him. Another villain got in the way, somebody else stopped you. You saved some people that were near a bomb, and you let the criminal go. You got to do something so that they don't kill him, so you can write him into another story. But in real life, if superheroes were real, they'd be killing these villains. We know they would be.
Man. So I think Tom Holland's Peter Parker becoming good friends with Mayday Parker, who was from a different universe, Tobey Maguire's universe, one, would not only just be super cool to see Spider-Man and Spider-Girl teaming up together.
Daddy and daughter swinging together.
We've heard Sony wants from Spider-Man.
Y'all better do that. Y'all better do a daddy-daughter swing together. You better do that. All right?
Brand New Day, kind of a bigger, more multiversal film that has the other Spider-Man returning to it. Perhaps we don't get the other two Spider-Men returning, but we do get Mayday Parker instead, and maybe Tobey shows up at the end. And two, like I just said, it makes it a multiversal film that connects to Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars in a really big way. And I personally would love to see Tobey Maguire Spider-Man back in action, swinging with his daughter, Mayday Parker, who apparently, and reportedly, that's who Sadie Sink is going to be playing. Again, I personally love this. I think it could lead to some amazing stories in Brand New Day and Avengers Secret Wars, but go ahead, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Now, going on to Avengers Doomsday. According to reliable insider Daniel Richman, Marvel Studios does want Tom Holland's Spider-Man to appear in Avengers Doomsday. However, they still have to work out a deal with Tom Holland. Now, when he first said this and the news first came out, a lot of people started to state that
Tom ain't got to worry. As long as he ain't stupid, he will not have to worry about any money for the rest of his life. I'm sure he already has enough. As long as he ain't dumb, you know what I mean? But, you got to get paid what you're worth. So, I get that. He's still negotiating. You got to get that paycheck right.
Marvel Studios wants Tom Holland's Spider-Man and Avengers Doomsday, but they haven't worked out a deal with Sony yet. And yeah, you can understand how somebody would jump to that conclusion. However, Daniel RPK then commented about this, stating, "Sorry, just now seeing this. A deal with Holland himself, not Sony. I didn't say anything about Sony." He then went on to say, there's already a deal in place with Sony, but they still need to finalize the financial agreement with Tom Holland and work out the scheduling. The scheduling is most likely the hardest part because he has to film, he has to film Spider-Man Brand New Day, which has to get started pretty...
I'm sure they'll figure it out. You know what I'm saying?
Quickly here, within the next few months, because it comes out a few months after Avengers Doomsday. Doomsday comes out May 1st of 2026. Spider-Man Brand New Day comes out July 31st of 2026. So they got to start that soon, but he's also filming The Odyssey. He's doing that right now. So yeah, scheduling could be a little tough.
Someone told me this a while ago. It was actually my brother. Because my brother was looking into acting for a little bit, and he had spoke with an agency or something. He had talked to some people or whatever, and he was telling me, he was like, yo, they told me the reason why A lot of actors, they ask for as much money as they can possibly get. It's because they don't get all of it. And I had thought about that at that time. This was years ago. I was in my 20s. And he told me, he was like, because they're agents, they're managers, they're lawyers, they're accountants. Like, they all get a cut. And I was like, I didn't think about that. Because they all help you negotiate. Yeah. So it's like, you might have, a guy's asking for 20, but at the end of the day, he only ends up with 10 million because of everybody he had to give a cut to. And I'm like, I get it now.
Tough, but they could definitely make it work, especially if he's on the set for Spider-Man Brand New Day and Doomsday at the same time. It's possible. However, that does make it pretty difficult for Tom Holland. It'll be hard on him physically and mentally, which is probably why the financial negotiations haven't exactly come to a conclusion yet. Tom Holland did an interview recently where he talked about how much he has grown as an actor and as a person. And he actually talked about contracts, stating that when he first came on as Spider-Man and just an actor in general, he thought that he didn't really have any control of really anything that he was doing because he was an actor who was just starting off. So he pretty much just kind of agreed to things and didn't try to negotiate because when you're just starting off, you don't really have that power. But
that's
now
how it is. Yep.
He does. And
That's
he stated
true.
that he can now say no to things that he doesn't want to do. And now he has
That's
more
true.
power to negotiate. And he said all this very humbly. Not from like a power position, but for a position that is just better for him overall, physically, mental health wise. And I'm sure all of that is coming up with Spider-Man Brand New Day and Avengers Doomsday. It's going to be a lot of work. However, I can't really see an Avengers Doomsday without Tom Holland's Spider-Man because, again, he is one of the main faces of the MCU right now, and we kind of don't have main faces. It's a little more established after Captain America Brave New World and the Thunderbolts, but in the Infinity Saga, we had Iron Man and we had Captain America, and those were kind of the faces of the MCU, along with some of the other Avengers as well. Well, Marvel Studios hasn't exactly established those main characters of the main story driving the multiverse saga because, well, it's just kind of been a little bit of a mess. But they're bringing it all back. Thunderbolts was awesome. Fantastic Four hopefully is going to be amazing. And Doomsday and Secret
disagree,
Wars, we know they're going to knock it out of the park. So
okay.
Marvel is basically bringing all of these stories together to revolve around one story, which is Doom.
And I tell you this, if Marvel plans on following the pattern of following Thunderbolts, and that's going to be their tone and theme and feel, they are in big trouble. Because as you can see, Thunderbolts didn't do well. So, they better rethink things. Because the fact of the matter is this, what they better hope happens is that some type of word of mouth gets out about Thunderbolts being so great that then people are willing to give these other future movies a shot. Because if not, I mean, it shows you already that they have severely damaged their brand. Severely. And I don't even trust Rotten Tomatoes anymore. But if you've got that, 2 scores, all right, from the critics and the people are both pretty high, and your movie ain't making garbage, ain't making nothing, nada, squat, compared to what they used to make, and it's a Marvel movie, better start listening to the people. You better start.
So it would make sense that they would have one of their most popular actors and characters.
And I told you, Marvel, what would happen just like it did with WWE in the past. Vince McMahon became out of touch. You're becoming out of touch. You're giving people what they don't want, just like Vince did. And people are leaving and not coming back. I left WWE a long time ago. Okay? Somewhere in the John Cena Boy Scout era. I can't remember. It was somewhere after WrestleMania 29 is when I left. And I didn't come back until now. Now I'm starting to catch some shows again. You see how long it took me to come back? There's a lot of people like me out there that are Marvel fans. That's how long it's going to take them to come back. And guess what? There are wrestling fans that will never come back. keep playing. Keep playing.
In Avengers Doomsday. Even if it's just for a short amount of time. He doesn't have to have the most screen time in the movie. In fact, Dr. Doom is going to get the most screen time. But even if he just pops up at the end, I think it's still a really good idea to have Spider-Man in the movie. And if they do have him in Avengers Doomsday, that means you can do a lot of multiversal things in Spider-Man Brand New Day, which is what I believe they need to do. We can still get the grounded and street level story, but overall, we are about to go into Avengers Secret War, so the multiverse has to be an aspect of
Mr. Stark, this smells like a new car in here!
Spider-Man. And it looks like Sadie Sink might be playing Mayday Parker. And I will add, because I've seen some people talk about this does not seem to be a romantic interest of Peter Parker, and I really hope it's not, because that's a little weird. She is the daughter of a...
Weird.
Peter Parker. Not technically him, and they're technically not related because she comes from another universe, and she's the daughter of a different variant, but still, I don't know the rules, but it seems like they should stay away.
Man, Aunt May was comic accurate in Toby's, wasn't she? Man, I remember when I first saw her, I was like, oh my God, just like the comics. I remember thinking that.
From any type of romantic situation there with Mayday and Tom Holland's Peter Parker. But go ahead, let me know your thoughts about all of this in the comments down below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest Spider-Man and Marvel news, rumors, or leaks. You can find us on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook.
Tick-tock! All right, y'all. All right. Well, post all your comments down below. Let me know what you all think. If you enjoyed my thoughts on this, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and share. I like where they're going with this, and I look forward to it. Tyrone hates female characters. 10 million subscribers. Woo!